All right, welcome. It's time to mix this song. So we've got ourselves a fairly clean production, nothing too crazy going on. Pretty simplistic, especially at the chorus, at the hook. So we may get a little more creative in the mixing process, but I'm going to take you guys from start to finish. So I'll try and break the video up so you don't see things that are super redundant or boring to sit through the whole process with. But for the most part, I've got my mix template up. We're going to start from scratch. We're going to import the tracks in together. I've changed my workflow a little bit the past couple projects or so with how I gain stage and whatnot, but I went ahead and included in this course something I share over in the Mix Academy is Mix Prep with David Glenn. And so go ahead. I would definitely recommend watch that whole video module first, Mix Prep with David Glenn. We're going to cover a couple things in here that'll be redundant from that, but for the most part, we're gonna just tackle this. We're gonna go at it. So a couple things I don't need in this template for this particular song would be, all the drums. These are meant for live drums. I'm pretty much gonna get rid of. We may keep the room mics for now. I'm just gonna get rid of the drum mics, and we're gonna start actually by coming over to our files. I've created the Pro Tools session, whatever DAW you're in, you create that session. I label mine DGR mix. Sometimes I'm sent mix sessions from people, whoever they mixed it with first, and they're coming to me. So I want to make sure they know that the DGR mix session is mine, David Glenn recording. And then it's easy for me to pinpoint as well. So DGR mix, and then I've got the client files. In this case, my files, the production files here. I've got the song title. I'm gonna zoom in on that. Strong. Files for mix at, and then the BPMs, 95 BPM. Super helpful to have that. If you know the key of the song, that could be great too. But strong files for mix at 95 BPM. I'm going to go ahead and actually pull over and start Stereo Monoizer. This is a program I use. I think because I produce this should pretty much be ready to go. But just in case, I'm going to drag these over here. And at the very least, I'm going to use this for my gain staging. So you can see Stereo Monoizer has a feature here, normalize gain to -20 dBFS. I used to use defaulter. Actually, I used to send my sessions off to be prepped. But because of Stereo Monoizer, I don't do that anymore unless I have a lot of toms and I need tom edits or any kind of editing things. I'll still send sessions off. But this right here saves a ton of time. This is 50, 60 tracks. It's not that big of a deal here, but you get 150, 200, 250 tracks that then need to be condensed, stacks of vocals and all of that. This right here is a huge time saver. So I'm going to be mixing this to aim for -14 LUFS or -14 RMS. And so I'm going to give myself 20 dB of headroom. We're going to start at -20. We're going to let that analyze. Probably could have done that while. Okay, so we do have some stereo tracks that can be converted. Right on. Awesome. And then once it analyzes and pinpoints any conversions that it can do, we will process this. It will gain stage it for us, and then we'll import those tracks in to Pro Tools and start the mix. So pretty straightforward. I'm kind of anxious to see how this one develops. I've got a sound in my head. I know Arthur had one. Almost thinking like a lo-fi-ish type tone for this mix to, not go pristine, high fidelity, but kind of dirty. And so I don't know. We'll see. So now we've got those all analyzed for conversion. Now I'm going to process. And it's going to plop those files. It'll create a backup of the source files in the original folder here, strong files for mix. It will process those, and then we'll be able to import in and start our rough mix process. All right, so Stereo Monoizer is done. We're going to go over to the folder here, and a couple of ways you can do it. You can just import by selecting all these and dragging them in. I like to for safety's sake, sometimes you do that and it won't convert properly if you've got files from a client. So we'll go File, Import Audio, or Command-Shift-I, and then we're going to go find that folder on my hard drive here, Arthur G, DGR mix, files for mix. And you'll see you got these files the exact same way that I have them here. 01, 02, 03, all the way labeled through to track 60, which is a whisper vocal. It makes it easy. I like things organized a certain way, and I do that for you guys with the courses or in the Mix Academy to make sure things are nice and neat when you import them in. You don't have to go find and put the drums together and all that. Makes it nice and neat. So we have our source files if we need to. We don't need them right now. I'm going to add all those tracks, double check there's no conversion necessary. Wham, bam, new track, okay. All right. So at this point, what I'm going to be looking to do is take a look at the tracks and route anything to the different buses. I believe I covered this pretty in depth in the Mix Prep with David Glenn, which you'll see if you stop watching this if you haven't seen it and go over, check that out, and then come back. But you got all vocals, all drums, drum crush. Something that won't be in that series is the glue. May or may not use that here. Percussion, low end, all music, high end, and all effects. Any audio track in this session will hit one of these buses before. I won't send anything straight to Mix A here, which is the submaster. Excuse me. They will go to one of the buses, and then these buses then send it to the submaster or stereo bus, whatever you want to call it, the mix bus. Call it all three. But anyway, so we've got all these tracks imported. Now we got to organize them, color code them, and move our markers around. It's a big help for kind of isolating certain sections and mixing certain sections at a time. So low kick, high kick, dump kick, tape kick, 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 claps, slap 1, 2, clap, snaps, all of these, rim A, super clap, warehouse, all of these down to about the tambourine. Those are all going to go to all drums. So I'm going to allow that to hit my drum bus processing. And we'll leave those all blue. But then the tambourine, hi-hat, open hat, we're going to let those go to the high-end bus. Excuse me. Rock tom, floor tom will go to all drums as well. And I don't know how that happened, but we're going to go ahead and put those up here below the claps and the snares. And then we've got, let's see, sweep up. We've got, I'm going to zoom in on the waveform so we can see a little bit more of that. We've got sweep up. And let me get rid of that. Okay, that'll go high end as well. What's the kick swell here? That's a low end element, but I don't want that to be triggered by any compression. We'll just send both of those to high end. It's not going to matter. Then we've got our brush loop. That could probably go high end as well. Nothing fancy there. Tambourine, same thing. Percussion or high end. Neither one of them ever really get bus compression. I usually just process it at the track level. So now we have the 808. That will go to the low end, as will the bass once we get to that. We've got our loop top. Okay, these two will go to percussion probably, because I don't know that I want any extra processing on those. May change some of this stuff later, but for now, okay, and same thing for these. All right, just kind of making our way through it. You guys will have the same tracks as I will, so. Okay, and that as well can go to percussion. All right, bridge kick. This guy. And a quick note about the song. So you've got this song with the bridge with nothing in it. It's just an empty instrumental. Basically what happened is I had a miscommunication about the, we're trying to get a buddy of mine to do some hip hop vocals over that. And then the second section there. If that happens, it'll come back to you guys as like a bonus video. Anyone who purchased this course will get that if I can get someone to do that. The first guy who was going to do it fell through, and now I'm hoping that one more guy will come through for us, but we'll see if that happens. Nonetheless, we may end up editing that out for a release for Arthur and just cutting all of that and going into another chorus. So we'll see as we get through this and get the mix going. If I can hear back from them, we'll try to make it happen. But okay, so there's the bridge kick. We're going to go ahead and send that. All of these kicks here, kick 1 through the clap loop, the snare, all of that stuff's going to go to all drums. Different section of the song, but we'll probably be all right just to send all of that there. Okay, so now moving on, we've got bass 1 and bass 2. They're the same bass track, but we scroll down, we'll put this on our bass tracks here. Let's go ahead and, so when you have overlapping tracks like this, there's a couple ways you can handle it, and it barely overlaps. You may not even notice. Yeah, I mean, let's see. Yeah, honestly, let's go ahead and just commit, break that, slide it up, and then put a little crossfade there. And see if we're hurting like this. You know what? I didn't like that. So, okay. We'll treat it as 2 separate tracks. It seems to be a little cleaner. Definitely feels cleaner. Okay, so sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Basically, I'm just going to duplicate for this one. It's not that big of a deal. We're just going to duplicate each of these tracks. You could create a bus or an aux track, and these right here as auxes, and send these audio tracks into them. For this, for whatever reason, I'm just gonna make a decision and put that there. So I have, let's see, did I do that right? Yep. Okay, so this first track, bass 1, we've got the subs, and then we have the subs for this other part, and then here we have the DI, and then the subs for the second part here. So let's see, subs, DI, let's put it together like this. So now you have subs and DI for the first bass guitar, and then subs and DI for the second part way out here. Another thing we'll do is we'll come through, go to slip mode, and for all of this, you can hit the key command A, and it'll chop off everything from the beginning. You can do that if, I'll put that over here for a minute, if you have the A to Z right there, that shiny A to Z checked. If that's highlighted, you can use one single key keystrokes as shortcuts. We'll come back to that. Okay, so now we got the bass in. That's, let's see, is that all the way up? Let's go 0. And we'll drop the subs down. We'll pull in the subs to taste and get those leveled out. But for the most part, I'm going to be cool with that. All right. And then we copied this, so we can delete that. Get rid of our 2 bass tracks here. So not the most exciting video, but I want to make sure for the sake of being thorough that we showcase all of this. A lot of you guys request that I show the whole process. So we've got the synth bass. We'll go ahead and pull that down by the bass, but that's going to be its own track. We'll put that right here. And I'm going to go with a different color so it stands out a little bit more. That'll work. Synth bass. We're going to send that to low end as well. Actually, that can go to the all music bus. That's not going to have much low end, I don't think. All right, so back up here, we still have some tracks to get organized. We've got pads, the keys, we've got acoustic guitars. I'm going to take all of these. They're no longer drum tracks. I'm going to pull them down below the bass for my sanity so I can keep things organized and everything sitting where I'm used to seeing them. All right, and so we have pads, we have keys, and this is like supplemental stuff. I'm a guitar player. Guitars are going to take precedence here. The acoustics are going to move up. And let's go, we got 1, 2, the lick. We got a couple of licks. Okay, I'm going to send, I don't want to break these up. I'm going to send, what are these doing? Okay, so that's like a reverse effect for those 2. So we'll just send this to, we could send them all probably. All of them are going to go for now to a new track. I'm going to call it ACS Guitars. Make sure it's stereo. It is. So now all of those are being sent into this new aux here. Drop it down. We're going to quickly send that to the all music bus. And we're going to pan them. So left, right, left, right, left, right. All right. Moving on. Oh, I want to color code those yellow. That's just for whatever reason. Let's see. Guitar, DG pad, DG keys. These three are just miscellaneous things. We're going to send those to all music. Probably make them a little bit bigger. And we'll color code them. Actually, we'll go purple-ish, whatever that is. It's not purple. And we'll go, there we go. Okay. Vocals. So now we've got, and if you notice, I'm leaving all of my faders at 0. This is something I've been doing the last few projects. Shout out to my man Jason Moss over at BehindTheSpeakers.com. And then I just love to give credit where it's due. I believe I saw him talk about this, but I also picked this up, Tom Lord Alge in the Tom Lord Alge TLA in the Mix with the Master stuff. He talked about leaving his faders at 0 and then gain staging. He used the plugins. I use clip gain and just clip gain for my rough balances, which gives us greater control when we do touch automation. What's the right word? Fidelity? I don't know what the right word. Sensitivity maybe for automation using your faders. Whenever it's up at 0, you're going to get it'll be more sensitive. You have greater control over your touch automation as opposed to it being way down here at -20, going up half a dB or whatever. So let's go to our lead vocal tracks. And we probably, let's see, pre-CH lead, UR. Each of these could probably almost have their own bus, pre-chorus. Okay, so these first 3 are going to live down here at the lead vocal bus. The word strong, that's going to get its own strong. Sounds pretty good. All right. Those are going to get kind of their own processing. So we're going to start by just saying all vocals with those. We'll come back to them here in a bit. You are. Okay. Decisions. Those are doubles, so these are easy. We'll color code those. Something. And send them to all vocals. But the hook, the doubles, and the whisper effects, we can also just send straight to all vocals. And we'll color code those the same. Now the hook, we'll put up here. Put a little space between it so I know. And then UR probably needs to go with those guys, yeah. So how they kind of stagger. We layered them. And then, so each of these are going to get the same processing. So what I'm going to do is instead of using this lead vocal track right here, this guy is an audio track. Because I have all these audio tracks and they stagger, none of them overlap. And so I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to take and create a new mono aux in Pro Tools, mono bus, depending upon your DAW, it may be called something else. And I'm going to call this lead vocal. Okay. And this is going to become that. So now I'm just going to put these plugins up here. It's been kind of my go-to chain, and actually, I'm going to put that LA2 right there. Devil Lock, we're probably not going to use. The Pro DS will spit up here. Decapitator, we'll just kind of move these. These are plugins I like to have in my template. And then Pro MB, and then the send. So I'm basically just going to delete this and send this track to the lead vocal level, which is probably moved. There it is. All right. And then I'm going to color code that, the orange that the vocal was, And so now we need to give this an input. So we'll go bus 27, sure, it doesn't matter. We're gonna right click, rename, lead vocal. Now, each of these audio tracks, they're gonna stay at 0, and I'm gonna route them to the lead vocal right there that we just created. So now, there's no solo, there's no pan on these guys. Excuse me, there is solo, but there's no panning. They all route out to here. Similar to if you're analog guy, you're working on a console, you may take Pro Tools and route it out to a channel on your console. I just did that here with audio tracks going to a bus, and now the processing's here, and then that processing will go to the parallel compression, and then the parallel compression and this lead vocal level there will meet for my final automation and processing. So basically all of these.
Am I living out by faith, or am I living out?
We'll snap that up to 0.
Am I living out by faith, or am I living out by fear? If fear has got a hold of me, then I become the property of a power. Doubt is clouding my mind.
So all of those are hitting the same processing. So I don't have to have 4 individual audio tracks of parallel processing set up. So a little workaround there. Cool. So we've got those. I'm going to go ahead and color code all of those orange. But I won't be doing any individual processing here, so I'm just going to drop those down, and I'll be focused on this. Then we have the lead hook. Probably could do... We probably could do the same thing for this guy and send it to that lead vocal. I was almost thinking using something like Isotope Nectar or another plugin and giving the hook its own kind of vibe, but no, let's go ahead and for now we'll put it where we just put those. So lead vocal, and we'll color it the same, and then let it drop down here. We'll let that one live a little bigger because I may still do something special. Actually, forget it. Okay, so those are the lead vocal. So all 4 or 5 of these tracks make up Arthur's lead vocal track, which processing begins here. All right, took a minute, but we've got it organized. So now we've got, if you scroll back to the top, we've got all the drums laid out. We've got percussion. We've got the different sections of percussion, everything layered. Then we've got our subs, bass subs, bass DI. We've got these synth bass. We've got acoustic guitars, electric guitars, keys, background, doubled vocal parts, and then our lead vocal. All right, so we're just about ready to go. The last step, I'm gonna go here. We're gonna put in the beats per minute, 95 beats per minute. And the song starts somewhere. I'm gonna zoom in on the grid a little bit and put this 1 click before. Oop. Cool. Little tiny empty space before the start of the track. And verse 1 actually comes right in, so we'll just get rid of V1. We don't need verse 1, the first pre-chorus.
All these lies, and God created me to be. I take these steps in these frequencies.
Pre-chorus is there.
In my weakness, you are strong. You are.
So you are. It sounds like we had some. Oh, you know what? We have those vocal parts. You are.
You are.
Where are they at? Ah.
In my.
The doubles. We're doubled to be left and right. So.
In my weakness, you are strong. Strong. Strong.
All right. Cool. I'm excited about this one, man. It's been a minute. So we've got our markers. There's the chorus. And it's not an intro. It's a verse 2. So just delete that one. Put that on the 1. Not that big of a deal, but get this organized correctly here.
Same. I'm at war. Man, he will never change, Jesus. Still the same. I'm at war. You are strong.
Okay, and then we've got the 1. Will be our next chorus. That right there is the bridge. And you know what? This guy, there's a tempo change. So Option Shift I, we're going to go to the production folder for this one. We're going to go strong production, sessions history, and we're going to go production. And I'm going to come in here, I'm going to grab the reference track, and I'm going to pull in the tempo meter map, key signature, and the marker memory locations. I just started working through it, but I remembered we did a tempo change at the bridge for this one, so I can pull in that without having to mess with the rest of it. So I'm not going to pull in alternative playlists. I'm not going to actually import audio. So let's see, I should be able to do, let's see, none, and get what I want from this. So boom, and there we have it. So we have the beats per minute, and then if we scroll out, there we go. So it goes to 98 at the drop, and then it picks back, so it picks up a few dB, what am I talking about? It picks up a few beats per minute there, and then it goes back at the end right before. There. Cool. There's a B section.
You are strong.
And we have a couple of, it looks like it double dipped on the markers. I don't know that that's a big deal. Probably not. Okay. No big deal. I don't care to sit here and replace. Cool. That'll be the end. And go delete a couple of these. And let's go double check, make sure we have our song start. Sounds great. We'll delete that one. We'll delete the first V1. And then some of these, let's zoom in. Don't know that I need these. Just kind of clean this up a little bit so we're not staring at unnecessary markers. Get a nice clean, so pre-chorus.
I'm a cloud in my mind. Kingdom is a hand, and I know I can't be the man, but God created me to be. I take these steps in these vacancies. I'm at war.
Okay, it was just a little early.
Yes, you are strong. Strong. Fear has no name. Yes, you are strong.
It's a smash drop. Got a lot of work there for that to be a smash. Let's B section. All right, we're ready, man. Okay, so reference track, I didn't want any audio. I just wanted to pull from that other session. So next up for me, now that I've got these in, obviously there's going to be some gain staging that has to take place. The balances are way off to what I hear in my head. But I'm going to bring back this guy here, and in the top right, I didn't create a rough mix because I kind of want to just get rid of the thought I had with the original production mix. I don't want it. To me, it was pointless. I didn't even really do that. Didn't pay attention to it too much. I kind of mixed it as I did layers, and I don't want to live with that. So this would be one of those rare occasions where you mixing this, I don't want you to listen to my rough mix. I want you to do your own thing because I want to do my own thing. So anyways, kind of weird to say that, but let's go grab Ed Sheeran. If that's how you spell his name, pretty sure it is. Forget about that. Let's go Ed. Shouldn't be that complicated. Let's go. Okay, let's go to music. Whoa, way different than I'm used to seeing here. Music, artist, Ed Sheeran. Is that it? That's the, well, I'm not used to seeing it like this. I don't know that I like this. Scroll down and find, should have more than just that one Ed Sheeran track. There we go. Okay, so maybe it was that song. No, I don't think it. I think it was. Was it Don't? Don't. There we go. All right, next up, we got to get a couple of these. I know them by the mixer, not the production. What was this one? I'll tell you what, it's in the bounces folder for this production. So let's go bounce files, and I believe it was, oh, it's not. Okay, well, I'm going to take a minute. I'm going to find those. I'll be right back. All right, forgive me for that. I had to remember what the artists and song titles were for these reference tracks. So probably the main one for the intro, the pre-chorus, up through to the hook would be Ed Sheeran's Don't. And I don't know that I'm really going to listen to these much. These guys have been smashed. Just a little bit for impact, low end, that kind of stuff. Make sure I'm not too bright. The other one was, I believe her name is Kat Dahila. Forgive me, I'm sure that's wrong, but Mirror. You'll hear me play it in a little bit. But then Purity Ring, Body Ache. I believe Jason Joshua mixed that one, so pulled that one in. He might have mixed both of those. I don't remember. But anyways, I'm going to put this guy... Actually, let me give you a quick listen to the references. Here's the end of Don't. Hugely important. I level match them. Pulled over. I've got Isotope Insight on my other screen here. And I've got them all around a -14 at the loudest parts. So you can see. I don't want to know that, babe. Don't remember. I told her she knows. Take aim and... Okay, and then we have this Cat song, Cat Delilah. Try that again, get her a little tighter. Okay, close enough. One more click. And then Purity Ring, Body Ache. So when the energy picks up a bit at the end, it goes, but probably not quite -14. Anyways, the basic gist is I've got my meters there. And then I also have, I'm going to show you this, the VU-MT Deluxe. They have a free version. This, I can't remember how much I paid. It wasn't very much for the deluxe version. And I've got these set to RMS. And this will give me, if I hit play over here, if I back it up. So I get peak, I believe it is peak on the right, and I get short-term RMS on the left. Right here is the short-term RMS peak mode. And then that's represented at the top up here. You can see the smaller line would have been short-term RMS, and I believe peak is the needle. So I've got those over here. I don't keep too much of an eye on those, but I've got them in to make sure that I'm not going nuts with my my gain staging. So, all right. So I've got. I'm gonna put this in mini mode and stick that up to the top here. And at this point, I think we're ready to move into the next video where we're going to start working on our rough mix. And we may go ahead and move into the drums, may keep it as a rough mix video, but we'll see you in the next video, rough mix time, and let's get it on.